Hello everyone, welcome back to Bleed Electrical. This is course on energy management and audit, and I'm Triveli Naidu from the Department of Electrical Engineering at St. Vincent Pallotti College of Engineering and Technology, Nagpur. In the previous video, we have already seen about assessing the energy performance. Now in this video, I'll be talking about setting goals. In order to set goals, it will help you out in the following manner. Setting goals helps the energy manager in the following ways: to set the tone for improvement throughout the organization, then measure the success of energy management program, then help the energy team to identify progress and setbacks at facility level. Then it fosters ownership of energy management, creates a sense of purpose and motivate the staff. Then it will demonstrate commitment to reducing environmental impacts. Then it will create schedules for upgrade activities and identify the milestones that are the difficulties that you're facing while achieving the energy management. Then tools called the force field analysis, which is one of the very important tools in setting of the goals, which helps you out to identify your pros and cons in an industry, and it can be used to clarify the goals to be achieved, to develop effective performance goals, determine the scope, estimate potential for improvement, and finally establish the goals. So once you set the goals, it would help you in so many ways. So now in order to set the goals, we have to deal with 4 parameters. Firstly, you have to determine the scope. Secondly, you have to estimate the potential for improvement. Third, establish your goals. And then fourth is the force field analysis. So all these 4 parameters will result into setting of wonderful goals for your organization. So let's start from determining the scope. Now, in order to determine the scope, you need to identify organizational and time parameters for the goals. Now let us see for organizational. At organizational level, you need to pay attention at the level setting. So firstly, it could be organization wide. If you set at this level, it means it provides a big picture of how the entire organization wants to improve. Okay, it will be organization oriented, we can say. We'll be communicating this information to internal audiences as well as the external audiences. So it is at an organizational level. Then secondly, we can find this at a facility level. At this level, the goals may vary to take into account the performance of specific facilities. Like it would include only specified facilities rather than including the entire organization. And this will be based on the results from benchmarking or energy audit, okay? And you can utilize this. And facility level goals are designed to help the broader organization to meet its goals, okay, because we are focusing more on a particular specialized zone and we get a lot of detailed information about it and we can set goals accordingly. Okay, then it could be process or equipment oriented goals. So some organization may find it useful to establish goals for specific process lines or equipments. This was for the entire facility. Now we are talking about equipments, be it the boiler, be it the furnace. We are talking about one particular equipment and we are setting goals concentrating on specific areas. So these are the different levels at which you can set your goals if I'm talking about the setting of goals. Okay, then determining the scope. How to determine the scope as far as time period is concerned? We have already seen about the organizational level. Now establishing appropriate and realistic targets. See, the goal should be smart. It should be measurable. It should be time bound. Right? It should be specific, as we say. So here also the time period plays a very important role. As far as the setting of goals are concerned, you have to give the deadlines. Okay, if I'm planning out certain thing, I want energy efficiency to increase by 2% in my organization, how long time will I give? Let me take it per annum. Let me check if next year also 2% increment is there in energy efficiency or not. Then I say that I've benefited from my plan or not. So it could be time bound. So it could be short term goals, it could be long term goals. So in short term goals, the annual goals, it could be annually taken. Okay, so annual goal provide the necessary makers for tracking and reporting the progress on a regular and ongoing basis. So you can take short term goals, or rather you can go for long term goals. Long term goals are usually organization specific. Okay, and it could be considered by internal rates of returns, then internal planning horizons and guidelines, then organizational strategic plans, and commitments to voluntary environmental initiatives. Because it's not only for the organization that we are paying attention on the energy management techniques, but also for the environment at large. We don't want to degrade our environment, we don't want to pollute the environment, and so we have to pay attention on the goal setting of any organization as far as energy management is concerned. So now secondly, let us see about estimating the potential for improvement. How do I find out whether I have potential of improvement or not? So you have to review the baselines, you have to see the benchmarking data, you have to benchmark to determine the potential and order of upgrades, and conduct technical assessments and audits, and then only they will suggest you the plan of action. Yes, there is a potential at this particular zone, the efficiency could be increased by maybe 5% or 4%, it would be suggested. So to set goals, it is important to have a good estimate of what level of performance is achievable and amount of resources needed. Obviously, if I know the target, I will have to know the resources also to achieve it. Okay, without any resources, I won't be able to achieve my target. So that is what, in setting of goals, I need to know where the potential is there for improvement. The method we choose will depend on number of factors. Okay, it could depend on the available resources, it could depend on time, the nature of energy use at your facilities, and how energy program is organized. So it is depending on plenty of ways. Now method used by leading energy programs include, if I want to identify the potential for improvement, then I can use any of these methods. So firstly, reviewing the performance data, all the data you have, you have collected the data. Now you are having all data together, you are having the bills, you are having invoices, everything you are having. You have to start assessing the performance and setting the baselines, as we have already discussed in the previous lecture about assessing the performance, how we were setting the baselines and benchmarking data. So many things we did. So here also the same thing, you have to keep it in mind, you have to use all these things. Okay, and performance data covering a longer period of time will be more useful for understanding improvement potential. Maybe 5 to 6 years of data. Okay, or at least minimum of 1 year of data you should have. If you take a particular month's data and you start analyzing things, it won't be that fruitful to you. Okay. Then benchmarking, another important thing that we can do in order to identify the potential in improvement is benchmarking, because benchmarking also provides you a platform for evaluating improvement opportunity when enough data is available to show trends in energy use. Okay, then another important thing could be evaluating the past projects and best practices. Okay, last year I had used this technique and I had really incremented my energy efficiency by 2%, but this year maybe I'm not able to. So what was the best practice at that earlier time? Okay, that was helping me out to gain that efficiency rate. Okay, then you identify what was the best practices, what were the past projects that we had dealt. Okay, so now then reviewing technical assessments and audits. Identify the opportunities to reduce energy usage. Okay, identify technical assessments and audits of poorer performing facilities. So as we have discussed, you can have an audit of your equipment, you can have particularly your facilities or an organization at large. As many data can you capture it for the well-being of your organization, for the smooth functioning of your energy management program. Then comparing goals of similar organizations. This is also about benchmarking in a certain way. Okay, you're comparing the goals of your similar organization. What are their mission and vision statements? You can compare with them and yours. Okay, where are we lacking? What have they committed? How much percentage efficiency have they increased? What are their contribution to the environment? You can go on henceforth, seeking their data as well, seeking their mission statement as well. So comparing goals of similar organization can also help you out. Then linking to organization. You can have a wide strategic goals, operational goals, cost reduction can also help inform the goal setting processes. So this is all about estimating the potential for improvement. Then next is you can establish the goals. Okay, in establishing the goal, you have to create and express clear, measurable goals with targeted dates for entire organization, facilities and other units. And then the common ways in which you can establish your goal can be define the reduction. The goals are presented in terms of specific quantity. Okay, I will be decreasing the usage of my energy resources. Let me take oil for example. I'll reduce 300 tons of furnace oil, or 10% reduction of furnace oil, I can say. So I'm defining the reduction factor in my organization. That could help you out in establishing the goal. Then it could be best in the class. Okay, this was the best practice I had earlier taken. Now let me follow the same. So best in the class. Then efficiency improvement. Now I can promise, let me increase the efficiency. Let me reduce the energy intensity of specific performance indicators, such as 5 kilowatt hour per unit of product. Let me reduce it. Let me increase the efficiency. So this could be done. Then environmental improvement. Let me not pollute the environment. This goal will translate energy savings to you. Okay, so you're not polluting, you're contributing to the environment as well. Then the actions in order to establish the goal, we can say, when you're setting the goals, be sure to use the energy team's knowledge to help and set, brainstorming could be done. If you are suggesting some goals, it could be in a group of people, maybe all the managers of the organizations, maybe the top management can also come up with their ideas, and the people from the organization can also come up with ideas, and you can suggest plan of action. Instead, it is not a single person's work or task to set goals. If there are members from the organization who do the brainstorming and come up with innovative ideas in order to have efficiency in the organization. So have management review your goals to enlist their feedback and support. Okay, this could be done. So this is how you establish the goal. Now, finally, the force field analysis, which is one of the very important tools in setting of goals. Now, what is this force field analysis? Force field analysis is a simple tool that can be used to gain additional insight about the change process to be pursued. Okay, how the organization is being hampered, what are the negative forces that are acting towards the retardation of your organization's success, and plus what are the positive things that are happening in the organization which are boosting or accelerating the organization's success. So that is what you find out with the help of force field analysis. So we find out basically the negative forces and the positive forces of the organization. So we draw a particular diagram which represents all these things in an organization. Okay, so the steps that are involved in force field analysis are: firstly, you have to state the organizational goal and indicate the direction. Okay, firstly you state the organizational goal, whatever, let me reduce the consumption by this much of units, that is my goal. And then you have to indicate, you have to prepare a column for all the positive forces, you have to prepare a column for all the negative forces, and then say, if you're taking, indicate the direction also. Let's say left to right. It is signifying the moving towards the goal. That means it's a positive force. You're moving towards the goal with this, a particular solution. So it is a positive force for you. So it would be drawn from left to right. And if it is a negative force, you draw it from right to left. We'll be seeing it in the example. So let's just understand this. Then identify the barriers that tend to work against the achievement of the goal. You have to identify the barrier also. Why is it not possible? Why I'm not able to achieve that particular goal? You have to identify it. Then identify the positive influences. As I've discussed earlier, you have to identify all the positive influences or forces, we can say, that tend to work towards your achievement, and they may be internal or external. Internal means it could be based on the organization's policies, it could be based on the employees of the organization because of their trends, maybe it could be because of the equipment, maybe certain equipment is not working efficiently, and it could be external also. External means it could be some government policies or something which is hampering your success. It could be anything. So it could be internal and external. Then you have to prioritize those forces that can be strengthened or weakened through your action plan with greatest effect. In this also, once you are preparing the force field analysis, it is recommended that you should minimize the negative forces. You can actually strengthen the forces of that are already positive, but the more easy way to keep our organization safe and sound is by minimizing the negative forces. Okay, yes, you can strengthen the forces that are positive to you, but in a very small amount. Okay, so it's better if you minimize the negative forces. So this is how we perform the force field analysis. Let us see with the help of an example of force field analysis. Now the goal, firstly you have to mention the goal. So here is the goal: to reduce energy consumption per unit of production. So this is my goal. So let me see the positive forces. Okay, this is the goal. Then positive forces that is acting towards the achievement. Now I have to draw this from left to right. So high price of energy. Okay, then secondly I can say energy efficient technology available. Okay, then thirdly I can say incentive for high power factor. These are all positive factors that are paving the way for energy efficiency. Then top management commitment to energy conservation. Then I can say energy is relatively high component of product cost. So these are all positive, which I have drawn from left to right. You can also indicate the intensity of these forces, the positive forces. Then negative forces that is acting against the achievement of the goal. Okay, this is the barrier. Now negative could be absence of corporate energy policies, then lack of awareness throughout the company, then it could be inefficient skills and knowledge available, and then competing corporate priorities could be the main reason, and then it could be the insufficient financial resources to fund the measures. So all these difficulties you can find. Now here we have all the positive forces, here we have all the negative forces. So this is actually working towards the achievement of your goal, whereas this is against the achievement of your goal. So this is how you prepare the force field analysis. Okay, in this manner you can see the strengths and weakness of your organization. So that's all for this video, and in the upcoming videos we'll be discussing many more topics from this unit. Thank you, keep watching.